Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm so excited that Vanessa is here and we are diving into blogging today. I cannot wait to talk about it. We've been talking a little bit before we started recording. Vanessa, before we jump into like the topic of blogging, can you just tell everybody a little bit more about you, your photography business, your relocation that like just happened, so much going on in your life right now?
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me on, Kat. It's such an honor to be here. Little bit tidbit for you guys. We've had to reschedule this like 18 million times. So the fact that Kat has me on right now, thank you so much. But for you guys that do not know me, my name is Vanessa Hicks. I am a destination wedding and portrait photographer currently in San Diego. Kat talked about it. We are a military family and we just currently moved from Hawaii, which is a place that I grew up, to San Diego in the middle of a pandemic. So that was fun. It's already fun relocating your business every couple of years, then do it in the middle of a pandemic. And, we've reached new levels of fun. So I've been in the industry now going on 6 years this month. I'm really excited about that full time. I've moved my business 4 times in the last 6 months. And luckily with topics that we're going to talk about, especially blogging and SEO has been the real big key to my success. I get to travel all over and do all the photography and such. But really the most important things about me is that I love Disney and The Office and typically have Starbucks in my hand. So, if you're down with any of those things,
Oh my gosh, so good. Yes, yes to all of it. Okay, so you already started talking about it or like touching on it with how blogging really has helped build like the backbone of your business because you knew going into starting your business that you were going to be moving a lot. So you needed to have that like foundation in terms of the SEO and like that blog content. So I feel like something that a lot of creatives talk about is not having the time to blog. But blogging is so vital for business. So how do you find the time to blog with everything that's going on in your business and just in your life?
So most of the time when people say that they don't have time, I believe that they believe that they don't have time, but really what is going on is that they are afraid to blog. There's this perfectionism of, yes, are there technicalities and technical things that you should be doing to make your blog SEO driven and all of these things? Yes. And because people either don't know what that is or, don't understand it, they just then don't do it. Right. And also it is one of those things that blogging is not an immediate, if you blog today, you're going to get inquiries tomorrow. Right. Blogging is like planting a garden. You plant the seeds, you have to water it and wait for it to happen. It is a constant thing that needs to happen. And so for most of us, the minute that we're done delivering our galleries and sending and posting pictures on Instagram and all that, blogging isn't on their workflow. So people just move on and then feel like they don't have time, but really they're numb and stuck on how to actually blog. And so when I speak on blogging, when I don't talk about the technical aspects of blogging, when I say it's like a habit, I just want you to start blogging. Okay. Don't worry about the rules. Don't worry about all of these things because the great thing about that is that you can go back and fix all of that. You want to add the alt text, the H1, H2 tags, all of those things. We can do that after, but just start blogging, just start adding it to your workflow. Then we can go back and tweak it because blogging, as long as you're paying that domain fee every year on your website, is free marketing, right? We put all our eggs in a basket on something that we do not own. We own our website. We own our blog. And that, when you realize the importance of SEO, and people are like, well, I do pretty good on Instagram. I do pretty good on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, well, what about the people that aren't following you?
Right.
On Facebook or Instagram? When you look at these keywords and all that, and you see that there's thousands of searches that happen per month, you're telling me, and maybe it's true, but it's not for me. You're telling me that you have enough money and you're busy enough that you don't need to capture some of those leads that come from Google? No one can ever answer that question. Right. I don't need Google. Right. So that's really what I see when people say that they don't have time, is that they haven't fit it into their workflow. And really, they either don't know how to blog or they're scared to blog.
That makes so much sense. Would you, I'm thinking about like the wedding professionals, for example, since I know obviously like that's your expertise right there with the shoots that you have and the weddings that you have coming in. So whether it's another photographer or a florist or a planner or something like that, like if they have a backlog of these events that they haven't blogged like over the last year, like say 2019, for example, because we all know that 2020 has been a little bit of a toss up with the events right now. Should they go back through and, start blogging past events, or should it be like, okay, let's just start now? Or what would you suggest with that?
So if someone feels like they're stuck or maybe haven't blogged in a while, I ruffle feathers a little bit. I am not a firm believer that you need to blog every session, every family session, every newborn session, every wedding, all of that. I mean, knocking on wood, 6 years, I've never had a family come back to me and be like, how come you didn't blog my session?
Yeah.
Why? Because blogging is also marketing. And we, as marketers, if we are good marketers, we put our best work forward. I blog something that I'm willing to do over and over and over again. If I blog a family session, it is because I want people to see this. They have permission to dress like this, look like this, do this location, and then I'm okay with doing that over again. So let's say you're in a rut with blogging. Find one of your favorite sessions that you just recently did and blog that one, right? Like no one is paying attention, probably except photographers,
right,
or other industry people, of when it was or how long it was. And then if that's the case, don't talk about that you photographed this last summer. Oh, I had such a great summer session, or just a great session. You don't have to tell people how long ago it was. As long as it fits your current brand, then go on and blog that. So I would just say find a couple of your favorite ones that make your heart pitter patter, because now you'll be more interested in blogging that than you're like, oh, this session that wore matchy clothes that I would never. Don't blog it. Also, don't post it either. That is another topic, but like blog, remember blogging is marketing. So your best work should be forward.
Yeah, I love that. Do you feel like there's a specific amount, like in terms of how often we should blog? Like, should it be like every week? Should it be like multiple times a week? Should it be just whenever we have time? Or what does that look like for you?
So people have to remember that Google, and when it comes to Google and SEO and things like that, Google likes consistency. What can you be consistent at? So a lot of times what happens is someone will hear a chat like this, or get an opt-in or something, and then they'll work. So they'll blog like 5 blogs one week and they'll post them all. And then they think they're done. They'll kind of, right? Like, I'm good. Right. And they don't blog again for a month. And then they realize that their rankings on SEO haven't moved. If anything, it might have tanked. Why? Because Google's like, oh, okay, they're blogging. Let's get them up in this algorithm. And then you stop. And then Google penalizes you. So I find after like research, like the magic number to stay consistent is like 3 times a week. But if you are not set to do 3 times a week over and over and over again, and you can commit to 2, or you can commit to 1 as you're starting off, then just do that. Be consistent. Like I said, 21 days it takes to create a habit. It's kind of like the same thing with blogging. So if you can start off with 1 a week consistently and then up it to 2, then Google is more happy with you and it's willing to raise you in the ranking status instead of penalizing you if you do 5 in 1 week and then you don't blog for another month. So I think people need to remember that it's all about consistency. Google wants to see constant updates to your site, because when it comes to blogging, here's the thing, Kat, and what most people don't pay attention to, people spend thousands of dollars on website templates and copywriters and all of these things, right? And then they're not doing anything to keep that website updated in terms of SEO. So now you have this beautiful website that the only way people get to it is if you link to it. There's no organic searches. There's no organic visitors that come in. And organic means they found you via Google. You didn't give them a link to get there.
Right.
So you have this beautiful website that is sitting out there in the interwebs for no one to find. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, my website's not working, so let me spend more money to refix it because maybe it's my website. No, it's you. It's you, and not using the website to its capabilities, which is SEO.
Well, and what I have two thoughts I was thinking. So first of all, I think it's so important for people to remember too that if you're thinking, well, I'm not going to have time during busy season to sit down every week and blog. Okay, then sit down right now and get 5 ready and scheduled out for the next 5 weeks. If you're doing one a week, like you can batch it and schedule it in WordPress or in Squarespace or, whatever it is that you're using, and have it ready to go, which is what I like to do because it's so helpful to just get it done and get it ready versus feeling like every week you have to sit down and redo that work.
Yes, scheduling. I mean, and that's the entire, I think any good business owner is able to batch out content, schedule their kind of lives out. If you see me on Instagram, I typically post 7 days a week. I'm not on Instagram 7 days a week though. That all happens on Sundays, right? Where I sit down and I schedule the content out for the week and then it gets pushed out. Yeah, I go on to comment and all that, but blogging is the same thing. If you can sit and batch your workout, okay, so Mondays are going to be my blogging days or whatever. How many blogs can I get out today? Now, do not post them. Again, you're scheduling them and then creating that consistency. It just makes it easier. I'd rather spend a couple hours one day than hour after hour after hour after hour every day trying to find the picture, trying to find the word, trying to do all of that. I'd rather do it in one day. Like that's working smarter, not harder.
Right. No, I love that. And the other thought I was thinking about when you were talking through is when you mentioned earlier that blogging, it's ours, right? It's like email marketing. Like you have your email list and you have your blog, whereas like we don't know what could happen with Instagram or we don't know what could happen with Facebook. I also think it's helpful to think through, first of all, for those of us that are service providers, blogging helps you stay relevant. It's doing the marketing for you. It's showing potential clients like, this is what Kat's doing. This is what Vanessa's doing. Like, I want to be in on this too. Yeah. It's also helping those of us that have products, whether that's educational or just additional digital products in your business, because it lives forever for you. So I'm thinking through old blog posts that I have from literally years ago that I'm still getting a lot of traffic on through Pinterest or through Google because it lives on my site forever. So people are evergreen. Yes, they're continuing to stumble upon it and then come to me, even though I did that post on Trello 3 years ago or whatever it might be.
Yes. And you make such a good point. So there's going to be people that are like, well, I'm not as busy as Vanessa, or I'm new to the game, or, having this slow season, I don't have any new content. One, know that it is okay to go back. And like we talked about blogging your, old work, but your blog should not just be your work. It shouldn't just be your session. When you want to elevate your game and stand out in the industry, you also want to be blogging about topics that make you an expert in this field. Well, Vanessa, I'm not an educator. Yes, but you're a photographer, you're a family photographer, you're a newborn photographer. What are some of the questions that your clients ask you? That's a blog post, because that goes very well on Pinterest. Or what are questions that people would go on Google to find?
Yes.
Yeah. Those are blog posts that you could be doing. So FAQs, all of these things, literally find the questions that people have asked you and blog about it. So you can mix and match, because, I'm a wedding photographer, maybe the same thing for family photographers or anybody. It gets tiring to be like, oh, this family was so cute in the meadow with their kids running around, blah, blah, blah. That gets boring, right? Just like wedding photographers, oh, her dress was so beautiful and the cascading. It's boring, right? So mix and match that. Some of my favorite blog posts, now a lot of them don't even fit the technicalities of how much Google wants, how many words and all that. But every Friday, or when I'm a healthy entrepreneur, typically on Fridays, typically on Fridays, I do what is called a Friday Fives, right? And it is one of my favorite blog posts, because and you want to talk about content, guys. 5 things I love about the wedding industry or family industry or newborn industry or whatever. 5 things I hate about the industry. 5 of my favorite The Office episodes. 5 of my favorite Disney movies. 5 of my favorite anything you want. 5 of my favorite trends in wedding dresses. It can be about anything, right? And you know what those also do well with? Those Friday introductions on Instagram and all of that, right? So you could be using your blog to also get to, letting your clients get to know you as well. And that is so important in a world that is craving authenticity, right? Before, several years ago, I think, it wasn't as much relationship based between us and our clients as it is now, because they just want to know that you're human. And I've booked so many couples because of my Friday 5 blog posts on my favorite Disney shows, my favorite Disney rides, like, and they're easy things to blog. They're about me. They have nothing to do with my work. But when my clients see that, something hits them. She goes to the office too? Oh my God. And that might be different between me and another photographer because they can relate to me. Right. So don't steer away from, one, being an expert in your field, and two, writing a little bit about yourself so they can get to know you. The only time your couples, it shouldn't be just your about me page. That's the only time that they get to know you. Not when people are spending this amount of money and they're trusting you with their memories, no matter what memories they are, newborn session, family session, and senior session, they're trusting you. They're giving you money. So that's trust. And your about me page shouldn't be the only place that they know about you.
Yeah, that's a quotable, Vanessa. That's so good.
Yes.
Learning about you, right? Whether it's your blog, whether it's your Instagram, like they just need to keep learning about you. Yeah. So I was thinking through when you were talking about specifically like the expertise side of things. Mm-hmm. A question I know a lot of my coaching clients will ask me is, well, but somebody else has already blogged that. Like somebody else has already shared that. Like, can we talk through that? Because I don't agree with that, right? Like your clients are looking at you and reading your information, not necessarily like they're going to read my blog, not necessarily Vanessa's blog, or not necessarily, Hope's blog or whatever it might be. But can we talk about that a little bit? What are your thoughts there?
So, again, that goes into that comparison is the thief of joy, right? So we see that someone else has done it. And so now that means that I can't do it. But that's not true. Why? Because Kat and I talk very differently. We have very different clients, right? And if we are confident in our business and we're confident in our actual voice, my blogs have gifts in them and 18 million exclamation points because I smile on my whole face and I want people to be able to radiate to that. And that is okay. While someone else may have done it, someone's not doing it like you. Right. And the technical things of what you're talking about may be the same, but how you explain it. That's the reason why the big names can release courses that are very similar, but have very different markets, because they want to hear from you. Right. They don't want to hear from the other person. That's why they're following you and all that. So it can be educational posts on, if you're talking to other creative entrepreneurs. But remember, most of the time, these expert posts are for your clients. Right? So they don't know that someone else has done it, but they see that you're doing it. You're helping them. You're answering questions to problems they didn't even know that was there. What should you be wearing for your fall sessions? What you should do for your newborn session? You're answering questions that they don't even know they have yet. So they're not looking to see what the other photographers are doing. They're looking at what you're doing because they're on your page. Absolutely. So don't be afraid of that, because what that does, it's called limiting beliefs. When you see that someone else has done, now I'm not saying I'm not a believer in copying someone, right. But when you see that someone else is doing it and that you think that stops you and you can't make it your own, you're just creating limiting beliefs, and you're never going to be able to truly achieve success in any way if you stay in that limiting belief.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's such a good mindset shift that so many of us, like, we get trapped in that, just like you said, comparison, and just, well, she did it, I can't do it, or she's going to do it better than me, or like, we just need to stop and we need to put on our blinders and like stay in our lane and provide content that we know we can share, whether that's educational content or for our clients, like whatever it's for, and feel confident in what we're creating.
Exactly. And your experience is different. So if you're giving a tips to your family sessions and you see someone else has done it, what are your experiences? The reason why that you are stating this, what did you witness? Tell a story. Oh, the reason why that I think that you should, bring an extra change of clothes because I watched a kid poop on himself before and then in the session. That is your story. Right. Share that. So then moms, when they're reading this, are like, I need to bring an extra change of clothes. Right? So it's, while the tips may be similar, your experience, your expertise is very different. Share about that, So, and it goes back to those limiting beliefs, really. I mean, we all, again, I'm more in the wedding side of things. We have all written the bridal timeline checklist thing, right? But my couples love to hear it from me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's so good. That's so encouraging, Vanessa. Okay, this has been wonderful. Like practical tips, mindset shifts, like so many things. I love it. I know you have a blogging checklist. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about it? And we're going to make sure we link that for everyone too.
So I just created a blog opt-in checklist something that I wanted you guys to be able to print out, have with you, so you know every step that you should be taking as you blog. Now, no, for all of you guys that are glossing over, I don't talk about the alt. I do talk about alt text a little bit, but I'm not talking so much technicalities. It literally is choose your images. Here's how many images that you should have. Because one of the things that I see people do is then they fill their blog post with like 100 images. One, it slows your website down. Two, your client's going to get bored reading that. You really only need 20 to 25 images to tell the day. If they want to see a whole gallery, you send them the gallery, or you send them over to the portfolio side of your website that has more. A lot of people will mix portfolio and blogging. If your blog doesn't have words, it's portfolio, right? So it goes from all the way from choosing your images all the way down to publish and where you should be publishing at. Pinterest, Google My Business, Instagram stories, Facebook, all of those things. So my hope is that you can print out this checklist and like, okay, good. All right, 300 words. Good, got that. Okay, oh, alt text, what is alt text? Okay, close my eyes and describe this image. Boom, right? So that's what my hope is, that this checklist will just help people out, maybe get out of that writer's block to just start.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome. Well, we'll make sure we link that for everybody. I'm also going to make sure we link your own blog so they can get some inspiration. Yeah. Your Friday faves. I want to start reading those for sure.
I don't care. I speak on Friday Fives at everything that I talk about. And then I love, actually, guys, if you guys do a Friday Fives, will you please DM me or email it to me? Because it's not, I don't know who created it. It was like an idea for me, but I don't care. See, I don't want you to think that you can't do it because I do it. Share your Friday Fives, and I would love to see it. So make sure you share it with me.
That's awesome. Well, we'll make sure we link that, and we'll link your Instagram too. And I just appreciate you jumping on and sharing this, Vanessa. This has been so good. I hope that this makes everybody feel empowered to just start blogging. I love, like, that's what you said in the beginning, like, just start. Don't get hung up. Yes, there's a checklist, which for checklist lovers like me, I'm all about that. I'm like, give me the to-dos. Help me make sure I'm doing it. But don't get overwhelmed with that. Just start blogging.
And if you just start, the things that you're scared about, keywords, SEO, you naturally do it. Once we get you started, then we'll talk about strategy and all of those things. But if you just start, you'll see that really, guys, we're making it harder than what it needs to be.
Right. Yeah. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you, Vanessa. I really appreciate this. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Comment below with any questions and make sure you connect with Vanessa.